On this edition of Motorcycle Experience, our Yamaha Lightning Bolt project bike really strikes a chord, while our 25th anniversary Honda Goldwing F6B also gets set to take center stage. Then during this week's Ultimate Ride, Norm and I pick our top 2 riding destinations. Just before we discuss iron butt strategies and storing your motorcycle after a full season of hitting the road. As Motovan presents Motorcycle Experience.
Hello and welcome to Motorcycle Experience, the voice of motorcyclists everywhere. I'm Dave Hatch, and this week we kick off our show by crowning our Bike of the Year.
You know, since this is our 25th season on the air, we figure we've ridden some 325 brand new motorcycles over the years. Everything from cruisers, standards, and tours to adventure tours, sport bikes, and maxi scooters. As you know, every season we invite viewers and fans of the show to spend 12 weeks riding and sampling the very latest and greatest motorcycles on offer from our friends in the motorcycle industry. And this year has been no different. Case in point, recently we sampled some big cruisers from Harley-Davidson and Triumph, the latest big displacement adventure touring tool from BMW Motorrad, some very cool middleweights also from BMW, along with 2 all-new units from Honda Canada. And we sampled the very latest triple-cylinder sport bike from Triumph. As for picking our Bike of the Year, this summer we decided to choose a ride that not only delivered a whole pile of motorcycle for the money, but also delivered a whole pile of smiles each time we threw a leg over the saddle and fired it up. So how did we spell fun this summer? Come on, you can spell it with me. FZ9.
So Mark, I'll tell you my first impression, this is a bad boy. This is an evil bike.
This was way faster than I expected it to be.
Yeah.
And a lot more fun and a lot more comfortable than I expected it to be. It wasn't perfect in any way in that way, but it was comfortable and more so than a full fairing sport bike by a large margin, I thought.
Well, let's break it into pieces. I mean, First and foremost, the heart and soul. This is a snarly motor. Man, did I like it.
Super torquey and super powerful. I was a little surprised. I looked it up. It's a 3-cylinder. I assume it's based on the previous 4. And I thought maybe it would lose something in that, but not at all. It is just torquey and powerful beyond description. And the exhaust note, the exhaust is right by your foot there. It's kind of pleasing, a little bit snarly, and way more power than anyone needs. A lot of power.
Big beefy brakes, good brakes. How did you find the stopping power?
Awesome.
Yeah.
And they're cross drilled. They make that funny buzz noise. You don't feel it in the lever at all, but when you really hammer on the brakes, you can hear them, and it's just stopping like nothing. I didn't use the rear brake at all. It's just the way I learned to ride. But the front brake is awesomely powerful, and you got that gigantic fork. So it's really stiff up there. It's on a steep brake. It's all set up for play.
What do you think of the fit and finish?
This is typical of Yamaha, is that the fit and finish is exquisite. At this price point, you're not getting, machined aluminum fittings, but they're high grade and they're all put together well, and that's something that's not easy to find. And really nicely put together, nicely designed. Liked all of that.
Who are we going to recommend this bike to? Clearly, it's not for a first-time rider.
No,
it's just too much fun. They're not allowed to have that much fun.
Well, this is a super bike. It's more bike than you should have when you're still learning to ride. I would say this is a great city bike because of the seating position. This would be a great bike to commute on and still have an awesome bike to ride on the weekends out in the country.
Yeah, it's great to see a bike with a motor that has so much character.
Yeah. I think anybody who buys one of these is going to be happy with it and be able to use it, like I said, for commuting or for real sport riding. It's not a track bike, but you don't ride like that on the road anyway. But for sport riding on the road, it's awesome.
Right you are, Mark. the Yamaha FZ9, our Motorcycle Experience 2014 Bike of the Year. Hang in there, we've got plenty more experience still ahead. Next, we roll out our 25th anniversary Honda Goldwing F6B, while Norm and I plan our next ultimate destination. Portions of Motorcycle Experience are brought to you in part by Harley-Davidson, BMW Motorrad, and Triumph Motorcycles. Closed captioning of this program is brought to you by Honda Canada.
Welcome back as Motovan presents The Experience. I'm Dave Hatch, and it's time now to look in on the progress of our very special 25th anniversary Honda Goldwing F6B. Today it's time for the big reveal. But before we get to that, let's catch up with Norm Wells and this week's Ultimate Ride. Today, we're looking at the bucket list.
If you've been following this season's Ultimate Ride each week, then you know that last fall, Norm and I flew to Sturgis, South Dakota, looking to spend 4 days exploring the roads that surround the famous Mount Rushmore and the Devil's Tower monuments in South Dakota and Wyoming, respectively. Our ultimate destination was the famous Badlands National Park, but a freak snowstorm shut down those plans on the last day of our trip. Still, the roads around Mount Rushmore and the Devil's Tower, to our delight, we discovered without a doubt were some of the nicest, most picturesque roads in the USA. Overall, it was a great road trip. Certainly one of our best Ultimate Rides to date.
Norm, this week on the Ultimate Ride, I thought we would try something a little different because we have been getting so much viewer mail, people inquiring about the Ultimate Ride, where to go, how to go. So I thought for this last episode we would discuss a little bit about where we've been. Everybody wants to know what has been our favorite Ultimate Ride in terms of the last 13. When I think back about, we rode on the Vancouver Island once early on. We did a fantastic ride from Vancouver to Calgary through the Rocky Mountains. In southern Ontario, we did the St. Lawrence Seaway and the history of Ontario and Canada for that matter. We did one fabulous ride up the St. Lawrence and back again out of Quebec City. Moving further east, we did the Cabot Trail, the Bay of Fundy, we've done PEI. We ran out of spots to go almost in Canada pretty much, and then we looked south. I don't remember, the Dragon's Tail, Grand Canyon, Southern California, the Catskill Mountains, and now Sturgis, South Dakota. 13 rides. What was your favorite?
Well, I think after you've named all those different places we've been and it brings back all the memories, I would actually connect a little piece of each of one of those, and that would be my ultimate ride. But if I look back on all those places and looking for like a very technical, fun ride, it was definitely Southern California, where we were in the Lake Elsinore area, and we actually nicknamed one of the areas that we were in the Hot Wheels track.
Yeah.
I had such a blast there, and then riding through the mountains afterwards. Yeah, that's definitely where I would say that was my most enjoyable ride.
If you're going to pick that one for technical, challenging rides, I'm going to pick the Grand Canyon because the scenery, we took cameras on that trip as well, and we were taking all kinds of pictures. If you're looking for an ultimate ride through a scenic location, the southern rim of the Grand Canyon was spectacular. It didn't look real when we were there. It doesn't look real in the photographs as I look back. It was great. So we're planning for Gaspé as our next ultimate ride, getting lots of local knowledge, getting it coming together.
Yeah, absolutely. And I have a local personality there that's going to volunteer to help us through the area. She's very well known in Quebec and an avid motorcyclist, and I think we'll have a good time when we get there.
All right. I'm really excited. I'm really looking forward to it, Norm. Well, I'm certainly looking forward to Gaspé during our next ultimate ride. Anyway, now it's time to catch up with our artist David Arrigo and our very special 25th anniversary Honda Goldwing F6B. It's time now for the big reveal.
To mark our 25th anniversary on the air, earlier this year we approached a super talented airbrush artist, David Arrigo, and asked him to create for us a very special coast-to-coast Honda Goldwing F6B. In an effort to bring a cool twist to the project, David offered to paint the Honda Bagger in front of a live audience at the Toronto Motorcycle Show. Each week now, we've been updating you on the progress of this special motorcycle. And last week, all the painted parts were delivered back to Honda Canada, and the reassembly process began. And now, after some 4 months, our 25th anniversary Honda Goldwing F6B is ready to be revealed.
David, are you ready to see it?
Absolutely. It's going to be the first time not in a million pieces, so I look forward to it.
Guys, if you could do the honors, please. 3, 2, 1.
Oh, wow. It makes sense now.
Story's all together now.
That's it.
Wow. So Kim, what do you think of the final product?
Oh my God, it's amazing. It's to see all the little pieces and then see it come together. I took a sneak peek last week in the shop, and it was, yeah. I think that Mr. Honda would be proud to be on the front of that bike. I didn't realize that I knew so much of David's work before. It wasn't until I met David and talking with David and how he's involved with the NHL and how he's involved with the Olympics, and so I've seen his work before. I just didn't know I'd seen his work before. So it was a really good experience. He was an awesome guy, and as you can see, he's a fabulous artist.
So David, 7 months in the making. This has been an amazing project. This was the first time I've got to see it all together, and I got to tell you, it looks fantastic. You did a great job.
Yeah, I'm very pleased with it. You know, as a team, between yourself, Kim from Honda, and myself creating this design, the whole fact of, coast to coast, and of course the celebrations of Honda's anniversary, motorcycle experience. I've just been so pleased with the final results. This is the first time I'm actually seeing it all together, as opposed to being pieces all over my studio, all over the show floor, and it's been a great time putting this together for sure.
What's your favorite part of the motorcycle now that you see it all together? What's your favorite piece, or what are you most proud of?
Every piece has its own story, because during the process of painting it down at the show, so many people were coming up to me, and I do remember a lot of these individuals actually speaking to me about the coyotes on the side, or the East Coast side with the lighthouse, and it's been a great response. And I know a lot of people have been excited as much as us to see this completed as a whole.
Well, the love is there, and I love your work, and it's been an honor to work with you on this project. You did a great job.
Thank you so much. Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Well, thank you to Honda, yourself, and Motorcycle Experience, and congratulations on your anniversary.
What a fun and cool project this has been. Rumor has it Honda Canada plans to introduce the Motorcycle Experience 25th Anniversary Bagger to a whole new audience when it pulls it out and puts it on display at the next Honda Indy race in Toronto, Ontario. Still ahead, we learn a few tips about saving your butt. Your motorcycle can go the distance, but can you?
Welcome back as Motovan presents the experience. I'm Dave Hatch, and it's time now to look in on our Project Lightning Bolt. This week we want to hear from Yamaha Canada and see what they think of the final product.
For the last 12 weeks, we've been documenting the progress of our Yamaha project bike, dubbed the Lightning Bolt. Essentially what happened was Rob Egan of Brooklyn Cycle Racing got it into his head that he wanted to take a bone stock Yamaha Bolt V-twin cruiser and strip it down and turn it into a modern day version of the good old cafe racer. Over the next 3 months, Rob and his team stripped the Bolt down to the frame and its air-cooled V-twin. Then chopped that frame, added a specially extended R1 fork complete with R1 brakes and wheel up front, while out back the stock shocks were swapped with race spec units. A chain drive R1 wheel was modded to accept the stock belt driveline, and an R1 seat and rear cowl were also added to round out the picture. The final icing on the cake was a custom Hindle exhaust and magnificent King Kenny Roberts inspired paint job. So after some 200 hours of trial and terror, we wondered, What did Yamaha Canada think of Rob's final creation?
It's interesting how this project came about, actually. Our branding message behind the Yamaha Bolt was, we build it, you make it your own. So down in the US, they actually had a biker build-off where they had about 12 of the top custom builders, have a blank slate Yamaha Bolt and create whatever they want to do. After getting some feedback from customers as well with their Yamaha Bolts and what they've done to it, we decided to hop on board and work with Rob and the boys at Brooklyn Cycle and create the Lightning Bolt. Yamaha Canada had some input, but we kind of gave Rob, a blank slate and said, do what you want. The idea was we wanted to do a retro throwback to a cafe racer style bike, but incorporate, some sport, because that's the background here of the boys at Brooklyn Racing Cycle. So we kind of came up with a 21st century cafe racer style bike. I was blown away with how much R1 parts they were able to use on the Yamaha Bolt. You can see the big fat rear tire on the back and the entire front end assembly. It's unbelievable. A ton of work went into this bike, and we had the idea and they did everything they could to make it work. The feedback on the Lightning Bolt has been phenomenal. We've had customers at every show across the country. I've been fortunate enough to actually attend a couple of them, but also our sales staff has told us as well. People have come up asking to purchase this exact bike. We had one guy come up with this checkbook asking, I want this bike and I'm not leaving until I have it. We had to unfortunately tell him it wasn't for sale, but everyone came up saying, this is what Yamaha needs to create, this is what everyone needs to create, this style of bike. They didn't just create a piece of art, a rolling piece of art. This actually fires up, rides, and I'm looking forward to putting some kilometers on it. But a lot of work, a lot of time went into making that possible, and that's something we didn't even ask of the guys here. They just did that all on their own. We will definitely do something like this again, especially with the boys at Brooklyn Cycle. They did a phenomenal job, very professional, and as you can see, created a fantastic bike. So we're looking forward to working with them again.
Congratulations to Rob Egan and the folks at Brooklyn Cycle Racing. Well done, lads, you did a fabulous job. In the meantime, let's catch up with Clinton Smout, the chief instructor with the SMART programs. This week, Clinton has some tips for long-distance comfort.
Well, Clinton, this week I understand you want to talk about iron butt, and I know our ratings are going to go sky high because you're going to drop your drawers right here on national television.
Well, I thought it'd be better as a family show, Dave, to show you one of the ways and some of the ideas we have about preventing that sore butt that many of us get when we're on our bikes for extended period of times.
Right. Well, we're talking about adventure riding, right? Adventure touring, but really this could apply to touring in general, right?
Absolutely.
After an hour or so, your butt can start to hurt.
It really can.
Yeah.
One of the things I've done is from a good bicycle shop, they'll sell underwear that's padded.
Right.
And that just keeps those two bones in our butts off the seat.
Right.
That actually really helps on a long tour.
Okay.
Another trick is to put something between you and the seat.
Mm-hmm.
So some people will use a sheepskin.
Right.
I bought this in New Zealand, and when I was coming back across Canada, I had it rolled on the back of my bike and realized, wow, my butt hurts so much, I'm gonna sit on the sheepskin. So I don't know if I started it, Dave, but that was like 30 years ago.
But this actually allows you to get a little bit of support but airflow, right?
Exactly.
That's the key, is like letting the blood flow a little better.
Exactly, and I think that's the problem with the sore butt is we're compressing down onto the skin and it can chafe, it can get very, very sore.
Right.
So that air distance in the soft sheepskin really does help.
Okay, well that's sort of the old school thing, and I certainly can't see this sitting on
an adventure bike. Looks a little goofy, I agree.
Maybe on your cruiser. What have you got? The modern approach. Okay,
yes.
I get it.
There's all kinds of companies aftermarket that'll sell some type of a gel pad that again will help support the rear end on the seat. There's also a lot of custom seats you can get. But the best thing that we found is a big wide seat that allows different positions. Mm-hmm. So when you feel you're sitting in the same exact spot, you can move around. That really helps.
Right. And finally, I guess one of the best defenses against having a sore butt on a long ride, and it took me a long time to learn this, is stop and get off the bike once in a while. Yeah. I like to just go, right? But
exactly.
It's a good idea every couple of hours to stop and stretch,
right? Yeah, you're filling up with gas anyway. Just leave the bike for 10 minutes, walk it out, get that blood circulating again.
Yeah.
And in the long run, it takes longer to stop there, but by the end of the day, you'll do way more kilometers and be able to ride the next day.
Perfect. Some great advice on how to avoid a sore butt. Sorry you didn't take your pants off. I was
No,
looking
I'm not
forward to that
upset
rating
at all.
spike.
Alrighty then, now that we've got you all fired up to ride, stay tuned because at some point, sadly, you're gonna have to put your toys away. And that means putting your motorcycle into storage. Portions of Motorcycle Experience are brought to you in part by Harley-Davidson, BMW Motorrad, and Triumph Motorcycles. Welcome back as Motovan presents The Experience. I'm Dave Hatch, and let's wrap up the show now with our very own Jennifer Martin. This week, Jen says after a long season of riding, it might just be time to put the toys away for the winter.
So Jen, this week you want to talk about storing our bikes, sadly, for the winter. So I brought along my battery tender. I don't want to destroy a good battery by letting it get cold and not being used for a few months. So I've got the battery tender, plug it into the battery, plug it into the wall. We're good to go, right? All done.
No, there's a little bit more things that you should be thinking of doing for winter storage. And
what?
This is the worst time of the year for me to think about this, but different things. One thing for sure, fuel stabilizer.
Right.
You want a full fuel tank.
Yes.
Put that in and run it through.
Yep.
Make sure it runs through maybe 15 minutes or so.
Okay, so we don't want our gas getting gummy.
No.
We certainly don't want any gummy gas in our carburetors.
That's right.
Perfect. So, so we've looked after the fuel. We've got our battery all set to go. What else do we do?
Let's clean the bike.
Mm-hmm.
That's a hugely important thing. You want to get rid of any sort of road dust, the brake dust, any salt or anything like that on the bike. Make it nice and clean. And this is a great time to get personal with your motorcycle, get to know, if there's anything that needs to be adjusted on it or something that's come loose.
Right.
Check it over at this stage. So really clean it off.
Okay, and there are all kinds of products out there now.
Yeah.
We've got bug cleaner to get the bugs off our windscreen. We've got proper bike wash. So gone are the days of using corrosive dish soap and things like that. Use a proper wash.
Proper products, yeah.
We don't want to harm our chrome. We don't want to harm our nuts and bolts with corrosive things. What about, you want to wax it when you're done?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, so we've checked our tire pressures.
Yes.
I guess we're pretty much ready. Are we going to cover it up?
Yeah, we are. I mean, speaking of tires, if you can elevate the motorcycle off the tires, that's a good thing as well.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, then cover it up and you should be good to go.
Store it in somewhere nice and dry and warm if you can.
Nice and dry and warm in your house. That'd be lovely. Local retailer as well. We were going to be talking about that.
Right. Yeah. So if you don't have a good spot in your garage that's safe, it's not going to get bumped or fall over, maybe talk to your retailer about storing your bike?
Yeah, and that's a good time to get stuff done on the bike that perhaps you've been putting off. So they service it. There's different plans you can get, I guess, for storage.
Perfect. All right. Well, we're all set to go, and that's okay. A couple of months, we'll be back on the road. Well, that's it for this week's program, but as always, if you're looking for more experience, be sure to go to our website, motorcycleexperience.ca. So until the next time we see you down the road, keep your feet on the pegs and your right hand cranked. Bye for now.
Closed captioning of this program was brought to you by Honda Canada.
We really wanted to congratulate Dave because he may not know it, but I get comments all over Canada and the US when people recognize who I am, saying, I watched those tips you did on Dave's show. They really helped me picking up my bike or riding in the gravel. So on behalf of all the people that watch and are better riders, thanks and congratulations.